The book of Revelation, also known as the Apocalypse of John, is the final book of the New Testament and is renowned for its vivid imagery and prophetic visions concerning the end of the world. The term apocalypse derives from the Greek word apocalypsis, meaning unveiling or revelation. It signifies a disclosure or revelation of great knowledge, often concerning divine truth or events related to the end times. The book of Revelation is significant as it not only unveils symbolic and mysterious visions relating to final divine judgment and the ultimate victory of good over evil, but also reflects the hope and perseverance needed in times of adversity. The significance of Revelation in exploring apocalyptic literature lies in its profound impact on theology, literature, and culture. It provides a framework for understanding eschatology, the study of last things, within the Christian faith, influencing not only religious interpretations, but also cultural depictions of the end times. Its themes of judgment, redemption, and the eternal battle between good and evil resonate deeply with audiences seeking meaning in tumultuous times. For example, Revelation's imagery has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film. Consider the famous painting The Last Judgment by Michelangelo, which draws upon apocalyptic imagery to evoke a sense of divine scrutiny and justice. Similarly, in literature, novels like Cormac McCarthy's The Road depict post-apocalyptic worlds, echoing themes of desolation and hope found in Revelation. The book of Revelation is not without controversy. Its complex and symbolic nature has led to varying interpretations, often sparking debates. Some view it as a roadmap of future events, while others consider it a metaphorical reflection on the spiritual struggles within the early Christian community. Additionally, certain evangelical groups emphasize its prophetic nature, while scholars might focus on its historical and literary aspects. This concept of apocalypse also invites challenges, notably how literal or symbolic its interpretation should be. Critics argue that a literal interpretation can foster fear and determinism, overshadowing the book's hopeful aspects. Ultimately, the book of Revelation and its apocalyptic visions influence broader discussions within eschatology, encapsulating themes of divine justice, hope for redemption, and the resilience of faith. Through its complex symbols and narratives, it connects to theological discussions on morality, human suffering, and the eventual triumph of the divine, profoundly shaping both religious thought and cultural expressions of the apocalypse. Symbolism and imagery in the book of Revelations are foundational to understanding its complex visions. This concept refers to the use of vivid and often mysterious symbols and images to convey deeper theological and philosophical meanings about the end times and divine judgment. The book of Revelations, or the Apocalypse of John, is replete with such imagery, serving as a rich tapestry of metaphors and allegory that communicate its prophetic messages. The significance of symbolism and imagery in Revelations lies in their role in conveying messages that transcend literal interpretation. These elements engage readers to look beyond the surface and explore the abstract and mystical realms of divine prophecy. Given the symbolic nature of these visions often represents the struggle between good and evil, the trials of faith, and the ultimate triumph of God's kingdom. Such imagery not only enriches the narrative, but also invites continuous exploration and interpretation, making it a profound source of spiritual and theological reflection. One example is the depiction of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, each symbolizing conquest, war, famine, and death. These figures illustrate the catastrophic events believed to herald the end times. Another example is the imagery of the seven seals, trumpets, and bowls, which represent stages of divine judgment and the ultimate unfolding of God's plans. These apocalyptic symbols have permeated Western art, literature, and even political discourse, reflecting humanity's enduring fascination with the end of the world. Opinions on these visions vary, with some theologians viewing them as literal prophecies and others as allegories meant to inspire moral and spiritual introspection. Scholars like Elaine Pagels suggest that the imagery serves as a coded response to Roman oppression during early Christianity, offering hope through symbolic language. However, interpreting these symbols is fraught with challenges and controversies. One major challenge is the ambiguity of symbols, which can lead to various interpretations and misinterpretations. The use of vivid and often violent imagery also raises questions about its applicability in modern contexts, sometimes causing fear rather than faith among readers. These visions and symbols deeply influence other aspects of Revelations, and intertwining with the themes of hope, redemption, and divine justice, weaving a complex narrative that impacts Christian eschatology. They serve not only as cautionary tales and sources of inspiration, but also encourage believers to delve deeper into the mysteries of faith and the promises of an eventual eternal peace. By exploring these symbols, readers can gain a nuanced understanding of the apocalyptic vision presented in Revelations. The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, originating from the Book of Revelation in the Christian Bible, symbolize forces that herald the end times, conquest, war, famine, and death. These figures, each riding an ominous horse of different color, have long captured imagination and inspired various interpretations regarding their meanings and impact on both the religious and secular world. The Four Horsemen collectively embody the tribulations and unraveling that signal the apocalypse, making them crucial to understanding the broader visions presented in Revelation. The significance of the Four Horsemen lies in how they encapsulate the chaotic transition from the known world to one transformed by divine intervention. This reflects the overarching theme of Revelation, which is to prepare believers for the eventual triumph of good over evil. As such, the Four Horsemen offer a symbolic representation of turmoil and change that is timeless and has been applicable throughout history. Examples abound, with literature and popular culture frequently drawing on the imagery and themes associated with the Four Horsemen to comment on contemporary issues. For instance, in Cormac McCarthy's novel The Road, the bleak post-apocalyptic setting echoes the desolation heralded by the Four Horsemen, serving as a cautionary tale about humanity's potential for self-destruction. In a different realm, the Four Horsemen have been depicted in films like X-Men: Apocalypse, where they are reimagined as powerful mutants, thus showcasing the enduring allure and adaptability of these symbols in modern storytelling. Scholarly opinion varied, with some theologians interpreting the horsemen as metaphorical warnings rather than literal agents of destruction. This view suggests that they serve as ethical and spiritual challenges for believers to overcome, emphasizing personal and collective responsibility in the face of adversity. Yet, with these interpretations comes controversy. Some argue that viewing the Four Horsemen purely as metaphors might dilute their intended message of divine judgment and prophecy. Others believe that an overly literal approach can lead to fear, rather than understanding, fostering unhealthy obsessions with apocalyptic predictions. The concept of the Four Horsemen seamlessly connects to other themes in Revelation, such as divine justice and redemption. By examining these figures, one gains insight into the struggles intrinsic to the apocalypse, which ultimately reinforce the narrative of hope and renewal that defines the book of Revelation. This duality ensures that the Four Horsemen remain deeply influential in both theological study and cultural discourse, inviting reflection on humanity's past, present, and future. In the Christian biblical narrative, the seven seals, trumpets, and bowls depict a series of catastrophic events that unfold in the book of Revelation, symbolizing the sequential progression of the apocalypse. Each of these elements forms a cycle of divine judgments, intensifying as they move from seals to trumpets to bowls. The seven seals, when broken, release visions that herald the end times, bringing forth elements like conquest, war, famine, and death, often interpreted as the Four Horsemen of the apocalypse. Following the seals, the seven trumpets introduce calamities that affect the earth, sea, and skies, further amplifying divine retribution. Finally, the seven bowls signify the peak of God's wrath, pouring out ultimate destruction upon those who oppose divine will. The significance of this sequence lies in its illustration of a structured, divine plan for judgment and redemption, reflecting the core belief in the eventual triumph of good over evil. This progression is essential for understanding the overarching theme of Revelation, as it crafts a narrative of eschatological hope amidst chaos, offering assurances of divine justice for believers. In real-world applications, these apocalyptic visions have influenced religious interpretations and inspired artistic and cultural representations. In literature, Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy and John Milton's Paradise Lost echo these themes, illustrating humanity's moral struggle and the promise of redemption. Similarly, in art, works like Albrecht Dürer's woodcut series, The Apocalypse, vividly portray these apocalyptic events, shaped by the visceral imagery from Revelation, impacting theological and artistic discourse. Supporters of this sequential portrayal emphasize its theological significance, arguing that it reinforces faith in a structured divine order. The vivid descriptions provide a figurative roadmap for believers, conveying moral teachings about repentance and faithfulness. However, the interpretation of these visions holds potential challenges and controversies. Some argue these are metaphorical rather than literal, sparking debates about symbolic versus historical readings. Alternative viewpoints suggest these events reflect allegories pertinent to their contemporary audience rather than prophetic future events, thus inviting diverse hermeneutical approaches. This point intricately connects to other facets of Revelation, such as the narrative of the ultimate battle between good and evil and the vision of a new heaven and earth. Understanding the seals, trumpets, and bowls enriches the comprehension of apocalyptic literature as a multifaceted genre that blends prophetic warnings with promises of renewal, fortifying the broader message of hope amidst tribulation.